Hello and welcome to PRSA. This is the official podcast of the PRSA Houston chapter, where we bring together all of our members so that we can connect and get to know each other a little bit better. I'm your host, Veronica Sofer, and I'm thrilled to host this podcast. It is a fantastic way to get to know each other because when we do connect in person, then you've got an opportunity to reach back out to someone and share with them what you liked about the episode, or really just share some of the connections you made. So very excited about that. If you are listening on the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes of PRSA. And if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, drop some comments so that we know you're watching, and just put a little hashtag replay if you're catching us at another time. So we'll go ahead and get started today. I've got an amazing guest joining me. She's coming on now. We've got Emily Conklin, APR, joining us. Emily, welcome to PRSA.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited about today's conversation because we're in the same space in the little niche in PR here in the Houston area. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm from Dallas. Go Cowboys. Sorry, Texan fans. But I'm new to Houston, moved here right in the middle of the pandemic, which was interesting time to make a move and do a job change. But I've been primarily in public relations for school districts. This is my 18th year. But started in journalism, so as a news producer. So yeah, so been doing this for a while now and just love it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And we're so happy that you're down in the Houston area with us. I remember when you were making that transition down to the Houston area, and I said, hey, don't worry, there's lots of opportunities here in Houston, and we've got a great support system. So glad you made it down here.
Yes, me too. Loving it so far.
Good, good. Well, tell us a little bit about your journey. I mean, you said you've been in school districts most of the time. I know what that feels like. And, but I also know that a lot of us had some either internships or experiences doing PR with maybe some of our outside groups or churches or charities. Tell us a little bit more about kind of what you did before you were all in school PR.
Absolutely. So my degree is actually in broadcast journalism. So my goal in life was I wanted to be the next Katie Couric, but that was the dream, and took me in a different direction. I would say about during Hurricane Katrina, I was like, I can't do news anymore. It's not for me. I'm telling too many negative stories. And I wanted to put some positive light on things. My internship in college was actually in radio. So I've kind of done some different things, but got into school public relations. Didn't even know that public relations really was a thing for school districts. I was actually hired by Carrollton Farmers Branch, which is outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And as a multimedia journalist back then, and it's dating myself some, but they had what was called PEG channels. And so my job was to fill that PEG cable channel with content. And so that was what I was hired to do. I kind of went around and was almost essentially a news reporter for the school district, telling good, positive stories that were happening and putting that on our cable channel. Then we eventually grew to start streaming those things on our website, exploring going live and doing that kind of thing. And then my career just kind of evolved from there. I went to Northwest Independent School District, which is actually outside of Fort Worth. It's one of the faster growing school districts in that area. When I started there was like 13,000 students. Now they're just under 30,000. Wow. So they are really growing, and at build out, it's supposed to be like 95,000 students. So they have ways to go. But the job just kind of evolved. I brought video there and social media, and then just wanted to learn more, and eventually ended up being the executive director of communications there for a while. So yeah, and then it made the move down to Houston with my husband. He works in education as well, and so that's what brought us down to Houston.
That's fantastic. And were you involved in the PRSA chapter in the Dallas area?
I was in the Fort Worth chapter, and that's actually where I started pursuing my accreditation in public relations there. It kind of got on hold. I've got 4 children. So with each child, I was really lucky that the PRSA board let me continue to pursue at different points in my life. I didn't realize, I'd gone through the readiness review, did the presentation for the panel, and then kept getting, either was pregnant, hospitalized with, having to be on bed rest. Different things kept stopping me. But I kept going, and I finally got it this past April. So,
Yeah, we were
so
so excited for you. Yeah. And you've probably heard me mention before, some of our listeners know that when we have school PR folks on, we have another organization that we're associated with, TSPR, the Texas Schools Public Relations Society. And most of us are also PRSA members. So
yes,
I love when our two worlds collide and that APR unites us in our
absolutely.
effort to really grow the profession. So we were all very happy for you, Emily, and we cheered you on.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's one of those things. And I think it was about the journey, it took some time, which made it more special to me and to my family, because they were there helping me along the way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So for those members who are listening and they're interested in APR, what's some advice that you would give? Because I know different people have had different pathways to get there. Some did it right out of, as soon as they hit that 5-year mark, they applied. And so they were younger. Some of us were mid-family. Some of us did it way, at the end of our careers. What's some advice that you have for someone who's thinking about pursuing the
mhm.
APR?
I think the biggest thing that I could share is just a personal thing, that no time is the right time. Like it's
Ooh,
not going to be this. I'll get it when my kid graduates, or I'll get it when they start elementary, or those were kind of the things that I said, like certain milestones. But I quickly realized that there's really no right time, so let's just do this. I think things that helped me was setting a deadline for it, just signing up. So that way I knew this final time that I did. I'm like, okay, I know I have to take the exam by this point. Finding a mentor was
yeah.
super helpful. Just somebody that, you could talk to, that really could tell you these were the kinds of things that I remember studying more for. I also used I think it's called Quizlets online, the different, flashcards that really
Mhm.
helped. And even reading the book, the Cutlet book, that was, that just takes you back. I will say too, having some true experience in the field helps. A lot of people get in, they have that, and I think there is like a time limit, where you've got to at least be working a certain amount of years before you can
Right.
get it. But
Right.
I know for me, it's like I got in and I'm like, I want to do something. I want to test. Looking back on it, when I started the process about 8 years ago, I don't think I was ready. I think it was a good thing it took me a while, because it helps to have that, day-to-day experience in the office, and
Yeah.
dealing with situations that, I probably wasn't exposed to 8 years ago, so, but
Right.
being in it, longer helps, so yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, every journey looks different, but I think just being flexible with yourself, giving yourself grace, and just if it's something you want to pursue, I think just talking to people and how did you prepare, what are some
Mhm.
strategies you use, that really helped me.
Mhm. Well, and I applaud you because yes, with a young family and getting all those study hours in, and I just, when I've tried to read the book after a few pages, it just all of a sudden, for some of us, we're visual learners,
Yes.
and some of us can sit down and read an academic textbook and dive right in. But for others, that mentorship and having those
Mhm.
resources are really important. But I applaud you for doing that, because I know a lot of people have tried and haven't quite made it yet, but that they will.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, I think it makes your journey so much more worthwhile when it does take some time, I
Mhm.
mean, everyone's is different, but I think along the way it's, I'm proud of it. It's something that
Yeah.
I'm proud of. So
Well, good, good. Well, Emily, another question for you. There have been a lot of people coming out of college, young people asking for advice on different ways to land a job. And
mhm.
I always tell them you should certainly consider school public relations, because it's a whole different field. And of course, most of them don't know that it's even existed. So,
Right.
what advice would you give to someone listening? We've got some PRSA members in the Houston University of Houston chapter that often ask that question. Well, what is school PR? What does that actually mean? What do you do? Share with them what you do at Sheldon, because you're more of a one-man shop kind of
We
team.
are.
Yeah, so tell us what that looks like.
For sure. So in Sheldon, and it's different too, because every communication department looks different. Some truly do just that media relations and marketing focus. Ours actually encompasses our education foundation and business partnerships and advertising as well. So we do a little bit of everything in our team. But I think something that's really important about those wanting to get in is to truly try to understand education and what education is. It's great because those coming right out of college and into departments like ours for a school district can bring that knowledge of social media marketing, and they might know that new cool trick that they can do. But I think truly understanding what they're marketing and what they're branding would be super helpful. Following websites like even just TASA, or Texas Association of School Administrators, just trying to understand what is our product, because we're not a for-profit,
Right.
of course, but we are selling something, and promoting something. So I think just truly understanding what we have to offer, and what public education is would help a school public relations professional even more, do the
Yeah.
job even better.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the other thing, you mentioned it earlier, is that you reached out to other people who helped you with your APR. Regardless of
Yes.
whether you're in oil and gas or nonprofit or the government space or school PR, just know that you've got a resource in PRSA that will help
Yes.
you. There are members who have been there, done that, and who really want to help you grow and shine.
Absolutely. I love that about being involved with PRSA. I went to PR Day just a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago, and it was really my first big experience with Houston PRSA, because just hadn't been getting out much with the pandemic, and then was on maternity leave. So I was glad to get to go and meet people. But I love my school PR group, of course, that's my family, but I love the different perspectives that PRSA brings, because I hear things that I may not always hear in that school education world. So
Yeah.
love that.
No. Agreed, agreed. Well, Emily, it's been so great having you on PRSA, and I'm so excited so that when we all get together in person again, other people will have learned a little bit more about you, and then they can just connect with you. How do you prefer people connect with you through PRSA? Is your preference LinkedIn? What's the best way to connect with you?
Yeah, probably email is the best for me. So my email, it's pretty simple. It's emilyconklin@sheldonisd.com.
Pretty easy. Yes, very easy. And I'll make sure that we put that in the show notes so someone can just drop you a message and say hello. Emily, it's been
Great.
great having you on the podcast. So excited we were able to connect.
Yes, thank you so much. Glad to be here.
All right, guys, that wraps up this episode of PRSA, the official podcast of the Houston chapter of the Public Relations Society of America. As always, I'm your host, Veronica Soper. So honored to get to connect you with other members, because at the end of the day, this organization is a phenomenal way to connect, grow, find mentors, find colleagues, and really just be able to share with people who are doing what it is you do and learn and grow from each other. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of PRSA. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you hit subscribe. We don't want you to miss any episodes. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, drop us some comments. And if you catch the replay, #replay, and Emily and I will circle back. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next episode.